So I'm just going to do about 3 problems here to help you with that second IXL for functions 2 learning target 3 part 2 equations. So this IXL is you are going to get an equation in the form of what you see there for question 1, but you are going to hold on, I gotta change it. There you go. You are going to need to put it into slope intercept form. So remember that's y equals mx plus b. So in algebra, we call this standard form. So we're going to take everything out of what we call standard form and again put it into slope intercept form. That's going to be y equals mx plus b. So if I'm looking at this first problem, and don't let that confuse you, that right here is just the problem number, is I have 3x plus 15y equals 2. So our goal is to get this y by itself right there. And we are also going to then get rid of everything else on that left side so y is alone. So when I look at this, the first step you're going to take is you are going to get rid of the 3x, so the term with the x. So rid the x term. So to get rid of the x term, you're going to follow those inverse operations we've done all year long. So we're going to take away 3x from the left side, which means we have to take 3x away from the right side, which will leave us with the 15y on the left side, and then we go to the right side, and now we're taking away 3x's. Well, you don't know what 3x is worth or how much it is. So you are going to just leave it as, because we can't combine them since they're not the same term, 2 minus 3x. Then the second step is we are going to divide by the coefficient on the y term, because we won't want the 15. We want it to just be 1y. So the inverse of multiplying there by 15 would be dividing by 15. And I'm going to put it under each of these terms so you can see it kind of like a fraction idea. So if we go back over here, I've got 15 divided by 15, which leaves us with that y we wanted. We have 2 divided by 15. And on IXL, you're going to leave them in the lowest term fraction. So if you need to put it in your calculator, 2/15, check to see if that's the lowest term. It is. So we're going to leave this 2/15. And then I see, don't forget this is a minus here, or a negative 3x divided by 15. And that isn't lowest terms. So if I put it in my calculator, if I know just to divide by 3 on both sides, I know that's going to be 1/5 x, and that's a negative 1/5 x, or a minus 1/5 x. Now to put it in correct slope intercept form, we're going to flip that around. So remember, this is my term with my slope, the mx. So my slope is negative 1/5 x, and I'm going to add 2/15. All right, let's do another problem here. Here is, if I cross this out right here, just so it doesn't bother you. Again, looking at my steps, get rid of the x term first. So I have a positive x. So the inverse of positive x is minus x. And if that bothers you, I have some kids that like to put a 1 in front of it, so we understand that's 1x. So if I subtract that, of course, that's getting rid of that x value on the left side. It leaves me with 3y on the right side. And then I have 15 minus 1x. So 15 minus 1x, because I don't know what x is worth, so I can't take it away from 15. They're not like terms. Then our second step, if you remember up here, is divide by the quotient on the y. My quotient on the y is 3. So I'm going to divide everything by 3. And I'm just going to do my math here. So 3 divided by 3 leaves me with that 1y I'm looking for. 15 divided by 3 does come out to be a whole number, Oh, which is 5. And then 1 divided by 3, of course, is going to give you a fraction of minus, remember that's a negative, 1/3 x. And then if I put it in correct slope-intercept form, it would be y equals this right here is my slope. Remember, if it helps you to box your terms up just to make sure you have the symbol go with the correct term, that's a negative rise over run. So a negative 1/3 is your slope. Don't forget the x when you type it into IXL. And then that's a positive 5. Next problem. And I'll just get rid of this so it's not so complicated. Same steps. First step, hopefully you're kind of doing this in your head as I go here. You take away 3x's again. First step, get rid of that term with the x. Then I end up with negative, if you like to put the 1 there for just a little bit, put the negative 1y there. There's no coefficient from that y, the value is 1 of them. And then 7 minus 3x. And then remember, our second step is to divide by the coefficient on the y. So I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. Again, be very careful you're keeping track of those signs. So a negative 1 divided by negative 1 right here leaves me with y. 7 divided by negative 1 leaves me with negative 7. And please, if you're not comfortable, grab your calculator and check all this math as you go. A negative 3 divided by negative 1 is a positive 3, and then the x. And then if we put it in correct slope-intercept form, put it up here. So we have y equals, I'm going to box these just to make sure I have my signs right. There's my slope. Remember, it's the coefficient in front of the x. That term right here gives me my slope. So I get 3x and then minus 7. A couple more. And hopefully as we go through this, you're doing it just as quickly as I am, and you don't have to pause the video as much as you did maybe at the beginning. So first step is, hopefully you're saying, get rid of the term with the x. So I'm going to take away 18x from both sides. Some of you like that line. I'll put that line there for you. So that gets rid of the 18x on the left side. Make sure you carry down that negative 3y. I would say one of the biggest mistakes that happen as you do these is people don't carefully watch that negative symbol. Then notice that's a negative 2 minus 18x's. Next step, hopefully you're saying in your head, I'm going to divide by the coefficient on the y. So you're dividing by negative 3, dividing by negative 3, dividing by negative 3. Again, I like to write it like that so it looks like a fraction. And so then you end up with y, because negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1y, and we just don't put the 1 in front of the y. Negative divided by negative is a positive, and 2 and 3 here, it's not going to, because they're both prime numbers, not going to reduce. So you get negative 2/3. A negative and a negative here is also going to be a positive, and 18 divided by 3 is 6, and x. So if I write it in correct form here, I'm going to have y equals, my slope is the coefficient on the x. Oops, and it's positive. Sorry, I should have circled a box that all in. So positive 6x, and this is a positive 2/3 for my y-intercept. So there's my final answer. And the last one, I'm going to get rid of that so it doesn't be so confusing. So if you could pause the video, do it yourself, and then fast forward to see if you get the same answer I do. Or if you're still needing a little more instruction, watch one more time here. So I'm going to take away or get rid of that x term by taking away 2 x's. taking away 2 x's. So that leaves me with negative 5y's equal negative 19. I'm just reading as I can see it here. So negative 19 minus 2x, and then divide by negative 5, because our next goal is to divide by the coefficient on the y. I like to do it under each of the terms. So then I'm going to either take my calculator or use my number sense to see what reduces here. So negative 5 divided by negative 5 right here leaves me with just a y. So this right here leaves me with just a y, because that's 1 y. Now I'm on to the negative 19 and negative 5. Well, first of all, negative divided by negative leaves me with a positive. And then 19 and 5. 19 is prime, 5 is prime, so that's as far as those two go down. And I'm going to put positive notice. And then this last one is a negative and a negative, so I know that's going to be a positive idea. And 2 and 5 are both prime, so I know that's as far as those two go down. So I'm going to end up with a positive 2/5 x. Last step is put it in correct form here. So y equals, this is my term with my slope, because it's mx plus b, so 2/5 x is my, so 2/5 is my rise over my run, my slope, and then I'm going to add the 19/5 to get my final answer. Hopefully this helps. The expectation is to do the IXL to 80, and I will be back on Monday, so hopefully this goes well for you. Have a great weekend.